Hex, is it a scam? What's going on with Hex? How does the inflation work? How is the money made? How can you make a lot of money with Hex? Well, guys, I was live yesterday with Funding Jim because he's, well educated in the Hex sphere. Also, Pulsechain is coming up. I understand a lot of people like to claim as Hex is a scam. I've once said that before. It's publicly known. I've said that before, even though I made money off of it. It still gives me scammy vibes. I still don't fully understand it, but I know there's money to be made, and I don't care if it sounds scammy. If there's money to be made, I'm in it. So just keep that in mind. I wanted to talk to him because, well, first of all, he came onto the live stream the one night because we're live Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, and he's obviously well educated, like in Hex. So I just wanted to see what he has to say. And the clip I'm going to show you from the live stream that we had right here on his channel, Funding Jim, is it starts off with basically right before the clip started, it's talking about the Bitcoin inflation, how that works. Now we're talking about the Hex inflation and how when you stake it, how these rewards can be given out. And we talk about this thing called compounding interest, which I know it's going to blow some people's minds. I mean, I know Becky, she doesn't really understand it. I'll try to break it down a little bit for the homies out there so you guys actually get it. But yeah, so we're going to be starting this clip off right here with understanding the inflation of Hex. Here we go.
In Hex, the difference is you are awarded inflation because you have staked, because you have locked and made a contract with yourself saying, I'm willing to lock for as low as 1 day or as long as 5,555 days, which is effectively 15 years. So you can make a statement to yourself and say, hey, I'm going to put this in the lockbox and I'm not going to touch it. And if I don't touch it, what is my reward? Well, my reward is compounding. You might have heard this thing, like a lot of people have, that if you have this bet and you say, which would you rather have? Would you rather have a penny that doubles every day for 30 days? So 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, and so forth for a total of 30 days. Or would you rather have $1 million cash? Which would you rather have as a result?
So, of course, to understand the compounding, I understand it's a very complex thing, and I understand our brains. Some people it cannot go through some people's brains. They just don't get it. And he was on the spot. He did off the top of his head. Actually, 10 mil would actually happen after 31 days. 30 days was actually 5.3 mil. But I mean, the whole point though, the point's still valid. Okay, the point is still valid. Doing like mental math like that in your head is very complex. That's why I'm using Google Sheets, because it does it for me. The whole point though is, so on day 1 you have a penny. Day 2 you have 4 pennies. Day 10 you have $5. Day 20 you got $5,200. Day 25 $167,000. Day 30 you have $5.3 million. So if you chose the $1 million payout option, you kind of wrecked yourself. You're getting paid garbage. Because this is how compound interest works, guys. This is the power with locking up your Hex and staking it. The amount of compound interest is crazy. And I want to get into the point, though, is if you end your stake early, well, you're missing on that last doubling. Because look, if you would end your stake at day 29, or you just stop the compound at day 29, you have 2.6 mil. You'd be like, hey, bro, I got 2.6 mil. I'm chilling. I'm going to go buy a Lambo, a Rolls Royce. I'm going to go have a good time. Okay, bro, have a good day. But what if you wait till day 30? You have 5.3 mil. You just doubled. The whole point is it's doubling every time. So, and then maybe they offer you 31 days of doubling. Well, then you have $10 million. So the point is, though, is that with Hex, this stuff can go, I mean, literally exponential, X squared, beautiful. It's just freaking amazing. That's why I, unfortunately, I mean, maybe not unfortunately, but, my thought process back when I got into Hex real early, like I said, my first stakes were on day 3. I was like, you know what? I'm going to just do 5, 5, 5, 5, which is about 15 years of staking. The compound interest, I can see it's amazing. It's worth a lot. The thing is, though, you can't actually sell it right now because, well, it's a contract. I locked it up. Can't do anything with it. And if I do pull it out early, well, I'm going to lose a lot of my Hex where it's not even worth it. To my knowledge, and of course, I should probably verify this, but when I looked at calculators online, if you pull out your stake before 50% of the lockup period, you lose your entire principal. Interest and principal. Absolutely insane. Okay. So I don't want to do that, okay? And the thing is, even if I pull out 75% of the way and so I get my principal and I get some interest, I'm still losing the compound interest. I'm still losing, okay? So just to understand this compound interest, 1 penny doubled every single day for 30 days is about $5.3 million. That's a lot of money. Moving on.
And humans don't really understand compounding that well as far as the mathematics of it. So I think when a penny doubled times 30 days of that type of doubling, I think it's $10 million. I think it's 10 times a million. It's the same thing that happens inside of the compounding of a stake. If you have a long stake, you are being awarded the biggest doubling is the last doubling. The biggest doubling in that $10 million reward of a 30-day penny staked and doubling each day is really day 29, you had $5 million. Day 28, you had $2.5 million. Day 27, 1.25. So the compounding effect is best as far as your net in the last days of the compounding term. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So inflation inside of Hex isn't being sold into the marketplace when it comes into existence. Every year, even though we have 3.69% inflation of the total amount of coin, that inflation is only awarded to staking persons, people that have a stake. And a lot of that inflation that they're receiving is actually being deferred further out in time. It's not even coming into the marketplace that particular year. So if you look at, there's other data that you can look at to see, I'll show you in just a moment. Let me show you this page, maybe you can see it. Do you see Staker? Let me make sure that you can see the same thing I'm showing you. Yeah. So this is a different website. This is hex.vision. Again, this is pulling directly from the database of the blockchain of Ethereum. And it's a tool. It's an amazing amount of data and information about what's actually happening in the Hex ecosystem, about the Uniswap price, what's happening on Uniswap V2. And you can see open stakes. There's a button over here for visualizations. You should just on your own, just kind of go through all of this kinds of data about what penalties are being paid out to the staking class. People that have staked, they get awarded a percentage of when people break a contract. They say, hey, I'm going to stake for 1 year. And then 6 months into that 1 year, they say, hey, no, the price has gone up so fast and so well, I'm going to go ahead and break my commitment. Well, you're going to lose a lot of that compounding. You're going to lose that interest. You're going to get back your principal once you've reached the 50% mark. So if there's any kind of penalties of what they would have gotten awarded if they completed the term of the stake that they set, but if they early in stake, EES, some of those penalties go to the staking class. So you can research and say, why is this guy getting more Hex over this period of time, in addition to just inflation? So if I look at this tab, which is open stakes, it's going to pull data, and it's going to show, when are stakes coming out of the contract, the individual contract the individual had set.
Alrighty, looking at Hex.vision here, looking at all the stakes of how you can literally see when a majority of stakes will be unstaked. Pretty cool website called Hex.vision. There's actually a lot more there, but we're just going to be looking at that right here. And you can see there was a lot of stakes being undone here. About 5.22 billion Hex were being unstaked. Their stakes are expiring. It says 12/29/2021. So wow, so that's right there is a lot in that month. Of December 2021. As we can see, as time goes on, they kind of go down, and we have a lot here in around 2029, 2030. So it seems like people were thinking, since this was the end of 2019, people are thinking in 10 years. So wow, I mean, you see there is definitely a spike there. So if you have stakes, you can see, hey, where does yours compete? I mean, there's probably going to be a massive dump in the price here. People are probably going to take massive profit when these stakes come undone. So just keep that in mind. We also see, it seems like right here is October, right here is November. This peak is November. This peak is November. It seems like fourth quarter. Oh, I just zoomed in there. It seems like fourth quarter, there is a big, massive amount of stakes being undone. So keep that in mind as well when it comes to like when it comes with Hex. And if you do decide to stake some, keep that in mind. Maybe you don't want to do fourth quarter because there's a lot being unstaked, which means that the price will probably dump because people are probably going to be looking to take some profit. I mean, they may restake some of it, but they're probably going to take some money off the table, especially if they held for 10 years. I mean, I hope I do in 10 years, so I guess we'll see. But that's pretty cool. There's a lot of data here. You can look at the on-chain data for Hex. Pretty interesting here. You can see the staking, the Hex penalties, gas prices, overview, and like a little bit more here as well. We see the stake penalties. Pretty cool to see. Like there was about $407 million Hex were given out as penalties for the end of week of 11/15/2021. A lot of people just wanted out. They wanted to end their stakes for whatever reason. They probably made some bucks. So pretty cool to see that. I mean, that's getting rewarded to the stakers. So that's pretty cool to see. Like, we'll see how time goes on. The whole point though is that I understand people may say this is kind of like BitConnect. I understand why they may say that initially, but if you actually do a little bit more research, you realize this is nothing to do with like the whole business model behind BitConnect was completely different than Hex. I find this very fascinating that Hex has such a strong community and that like they're mainly on decentralized exchange. If we go over here to CoinMarketCap, we type in Hex. Well, first of all, I've already talked about how Hex is not, it's actually being discriminated against because it's not actually properly ranked on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko. But we scroll down here. What's very fascinating is the number one place for liquidity is Uniswap, which is a DEX, a decentralized exchange. So, and then of course Poloniex, and you got LBank down here somewhere, which I would never use in my humble opinion. I think that was on CoinGecko shows that. The point though is DEXs is where is that. So people are used to using the blockchain. They're not used to a centralized party. Yes, they have to get their fiat in through a centralized party and then go to the DEX, and I can go from there. Yes, that does have to happen. But they're taking their money away from the legacy system and they're putting it into the new Web 3.0 or whatever the pluck you want to call it. It's pretty cool though, and that's like my point of all this here though, is I believe Pulsechain will do very, very well. Okay, like this guy right here, people either love him or they hate him. There's not many people in the middle, and he's kind of like Elon Musk. They love Elon Musk or they hate Elon Musk. Not many people are in the middle. So this right here does a great job for marketing. Just him going live on YouTube, because that's what he does. It does a great job marketing his product. And I just want to say, I saw Richard Hart before Hex launched, and I can't tell you exactly how, like when I first found him because I don't remember. But what I do remember, I probably found him probably around a year before it happened because I just remember like, oh, there's this airdrop you're going to get for how much Bitcoin you have. You get X amount of these things, and it's going to be free. I was like, well, I guess I'll stay up to date on that. I mean, free airdrop, like cool, like whatever, and. Well, everyone, it's getting postponed. They're still working on it. It's not going to come out. Oh, we're getting closer, but it's getting postponed and da. Now that sounds like, a lot of disappointment. Like, like what's going on, Richard? Why is it being like postponed? The point though, he has a working product. Hex is a working product. How many cryptos out there? They're not actually working products. They're promises. Hey, buy my crypto, and we're going to promise we'll make it real one day. A lot, okay? I mean, think about Cardano. But like the whole point is, with this Pulsechain, I do believe he's going to make sure. Well, first of all, it's already in, I think, the third beta testing. I'm sure the Hexkins can correct me down below. But first of all, they're already in the beta testings of Pulsechain. So he's not going to launch this thing when it's not ready. Okay? They're literally copying Ethereum blockchain. They're copying the entire thing over there, and it'll be on this thing called Pulsechain. So whatever you have on Ethereum, you also have on Pulsechain. Now, there's no value of the tokens on Pulsechain until the market decides. And that's what fascinates me. And I can't wait to see how this plays out. We can do some speculation like we like to do on this channel, but I really don't know how it's going to play out. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I have some speculation probably for a different video, but I think it's going to be highly successful in my humble opinion. I'd love to know your thoughts about that down below. Do you guys, of course, do you guys think Hex is a scam? You're like, no, I'm not going to touch that with a 6-inch pull. Or are you like, what, I'm all in. I think this thing's the best thing since sliced bread. Let me know your thoughts about that down below. And I would highly recommend checking out the live stream right here. I personally would watch it in double speed. I think I sound funny in double speed. but that's what I personally do. It was like an hour and like 40 minutes long. So you just put double speed on. It's only like, half of an hour, 40 minutes. So that's right there. That right there is the video for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Definitely consider smacking that subscribe button, smacking the like button, all that great stuff. And we're live Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And you guys know how it goes. Until next time, may the gains be with you.